Welcome! Today we'll be making concrete, hopefully. Yeah. I guess you will have like a 1 meter by 1 meter slab. So start with that. Create a plane, disable this widget, and go into render mode to see what we have now. Let me add some sort of a lighting equipment. Yeah, that seems about right. And let's add like a yellower kind of thingy. Yellow, slightly yellow, obviously. Yeah, let's hide the other ones. Yeah, too saturated. Okay, this will work. Let's move it over here and unhide the other one. And we have very, very nice even lit, slightly yellowish tinge thing. It's cool how English works in this following way. You can replace anything with thing, and I think you can actually get away with it. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's... oh, another Easter egg. Let's start with only render and preferably world background visible. Although I don't think we'll be using renderable visually enabled backgrounds for now. Okay, so let's see. Okay, seriously though, I think the white lamp is a bit pale, obviously, and this one, the yellow one, is a bit too bright, so this will work. Let me add some sort of test object. Smooth it out like this, yeah. Okay, so it's, I don't know, it's a standard scene. Let me increase the resolution before we get epilepsy. Yeah, okay, it works pretty well. Let's reduce the light paths down to, well, down to 0. You're gonna see this, and we don't want this. There's no such thing as absolute 0 in real life, so we'll leave it at one bound. I'm not messing with the diffuse passes and all of this because we're only going to use diffuse today. Okay, maybe 2 because we want some sort of light going in here, obviously. So 2 bounces maximum for I guess final render, even, because I don't think concrete has that much subtleties into it. You just have a piece of, concrete, and that's it. Okay, so the starting point is a pretty flat looking, horrible plane. What we're going to do first and foremost is how I found it to be better, at least in my opinion, is to create a displacement map. And this is up to you. You can actually use real displacement or just bump mapping. Real displacement is when you have, say, this geometry and you subdivide it right before render time. Actually, you don't do it manually. The renderer does it for you, so you're safe in this way. And well, what it does is actually it applies some sort of a formula based on what texture you feed it to mess around your geometry in kind of like this way. And it's obviously it's somewhere around here. I think it was, yeah, in object data, displacement, switch from bump to true, and you get this effect whenever you're using a displacement map. But we are not copying that because it's pretty straightforward, and I'm sure you can find some tutorial on the internet. So what we need, we need some kind of a texture to show up. So we're gonna create, let's see, what do we need? I think we're gonna use noise for this example. Let's try to preview it, obviously. Control-Shift-Click or Command-Shift-Click, and try to get the factor output because we're gonna be using only this one. Scale it up so that there's more noise in your image. Let's add a color ramp, and we're trying just to get localized clusters of light. And and we achieve this by raising the limit for the black, you know, this. But we need even more, so I'm gonna scale it up a lot. We need those like pebbles, you see, the gravel and all this. And while it would be easier if you just went ahead and used some sort of texture, it's better for us. And I'm gonna show you why. Because with procedural textures, you can just zoom in. There's like no limit to your zoom. It's gonna get calculated anyway. With bitmap textures, I think I covered it a tutorial ago. At least on GPU rendering, you get limited interpolation, and that is to say, it's linear interpolation or constant or, you know, near neighbor, and that's no interpolation at all. So let's see. Okay, we've seen how this looks. It's pretty random, I'd say. You know, it's kind of like a walk of fame kind of grovel, because we're trying to only visualize what's happening in these nodes. So now we're just gonna connect back the diffuse shader, and we're gonna plug whatever comes out of the color ramp. We're gonna put it into displacement, and we're gonna see the magic happen. And guess what? It did happen. This is amazing, right? No, not yet. While it does look, you know, fairly random, I'd say, let's disable one light to see if we got the orientation right. We want holes in the concrete, not, you know, like not mountains, so to speak. Let me see. Yeah, I think these are holes. I may have gone a bit overboard. Yeah, no, those are not holes. Okay, so we're gonna invert this, and the easiest way would be, I think, to add like an invert. Let's see where it is. Invert node, but no, we're just gonna make this 0 value. We're gonna make it white, and the 1 value we're gonna make it black. Yeah, and now you can see, like, if light comes from the left, like over here, you can see this part of the hole gets lit up, while this one is in complete shadow. So that seems to work out. Let me see if bounces affects any of this. Let's see. I think absolutely not. No. Okay, so bump mapping. Yeah, bump mapping. Don't try to do it excessively because it doesn't have global illumination. So yeah, don't do it. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, we're just gonna redo the levels a bit. I think I just went ahead and kind of destroyed everything I worked for. Okay, I think these are, you know, like random enough. They are indentations in the concrete, like bubbles and all this. Yeah, they're pretty good, I guess. Now what we're gonna do is disable this, obviously, because we've worked so hard to do it. Disable the displacement and work on the actual RGB texture. Let's call it that, you know, the visual texture, if you will. What is this? Did I just multiply this plane? Oh yeah, copy pasted it. Okay, let's see. We are gonna add a texture. We're gonna add a noise texture. Man, I really love these textures. Only noise, 2 tutorials down, and all I've used is noise. This might say a lot about my skills right now with cycles. So we're just gonna scale this up. You know, we have to remember this is 1 meter across and 1 meter, and you know, it's like 1 meter squared. We're just gonna fiddle around with the colors for this cloud, I think. So we're just gonna go ahead and make another color ramp. Gonna minimize this with H and Alt+H. Oh no, wait, no. Yeah, okay, Alt+H doesn't work, so it's H and H to hide and unhide. And we're gonna make the black a bit more prominent, the 0 level, I mean. We're gonna make it like this, and we're gonna make it go towards gray, like this. Bit. Same with this one, I think. Yeah, I think this is what concrete looks like if you don't have any bump mapping. So let's Let's roll this back in. Okay, so remember we have this. Whoa, you can't even see it straight. We have this detail that's gonna go as a displacement map, or in our case, a bump map. Okay, so you might say, well, okay, I see where you're going with it. It's something, I guess, but this is definitely not concrete, and I'm 100% with you on that. We're just gonna have to add like more and more variations, such as the yellowy things in concrete. I think they're called pebbles, I hope. So we're gonna use the diffuse one. We're gonna mix nodes around. It's gonna be fun. Can't wait for it. Let's see, what do I need? I'm gonna use, I think, the exact same noise texture. I'm gonna duplicate it by Shift D. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna mess around with the scale. And let's see what I can do with the color ramp. I say I'm gonna control numpad 0 to mix them up. Switch the monochromatic one, obviously, like this. And it mixes them, so 0 being the original texture, the very low density one, and 1 being the one we're using to make these things. I don't know if you like this. I mean, you can add just, you know, like another color ramp to this and call it a day. You know, let's see if this is to your liking. I mean, you know, if this looks concrete-y enough for you, you can just mess around with the colors and the levels of this. But I don't think it's enough. No, it's not that good. Is it? It's one type of concrete, I'm sure of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Added 5 minutes to the timer, and let's see what I can do with it in this really short time I've got left. Let's see. I only need to visualize this color ramp, so I'm just gonna focus on this one. You can use this as a bump map as well if you want like a more industrial concrete thing where they don't really give a flying fornication if it looks good or not. It's gonna have lots of indentations, so yeah, it's good for some purposes. We're practically gonna make like zeros and ones. I don't want to use. You can mess around with interpolation types. You can have like ease and constant, you know. Lots of fun with constant, like this. But no, we're not gonna use that. We want to multiply, so we're gonna preview the mix node, what we have until now, you know, 0 and 1, and see what we can come up with. And I think I'm gonna go with overlay. Yeah, overlay wasn't the one, I think. Yeah, definitely not the one. Which one is it? The one that ignores, I think, screen. Yeah, the one that ignores 0 and only lightens up. It's also called lighten, I think. Kind of like this. And let's try to make this a bit more yellow. Let's see if this works. To our advantage, of course. It's like pea yellow. Let's add the displacement. Oh, actually no, let's make the diffuse one. Let's see how this looks. It looks kind of horrible, but it's getting there, you know. And yes, I did see concrete with such impurities in it, you know, it's horrible. There you go. More impurities. We can double this one. I mean, the noise texture, we can make more noise for our bump map. Let's say we have these well-defined little shapes and indentations, or whatever you want to call them. And let's say we want, let's disable you. We want a bit bigger moon crater-ish stuff, right? Like this. So let's see how this looks. We're gonna invert them again. Yeah, I guess this is pretty good. And we're gonna multiply them. I'm gonna multiply the original bump with whatever we have out of the color ramp over here. And I think we can just get rid of this one. There we go. So we're gonna multiply this color, let me just clean up the space a bit. Yeah, we're gonna multiply this one by this one, right? So let's see how this goes. Mix them, multiply, and let's see what this did to us. Hope it didn't give us cancer. It kinda did, didn't it? Yeah. No worries. Just need more black. Or less white. You know, whatever you're into. Let's see how this looks as a diffuse. And whoa. Okay, so it's getting there. I mean, you've got the coloration, the randomness of it, but we've got too much bump mapping. So what we're gonna do now is exactly my favorite. We're gonna add another color ramp. Right, alright. See how this got highlighted? This this path right here. Yeah, we're gonna use this. Like, okay, the elevated part, which is represented by white, it's gonna go a bit down, a bit more, and this will result in, you know, like a change of contrast, like this. And I don't know. I mean, it depends what kind of concrete you want. Obviously, it's not you know, general purpose, I think, but it's getting there. Anyway, the reason for this tutorial was to get you into that thinking mindset to make your own materials, and I think I've pretty much made a wall out of this. It's not exactly concretey,